Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report, coming to you today from the studio here. Kaiser and I have been looking at the news all night last night and early this morning. Not a lot going on that's of any means that would be interesting to us. However, we did find some really not so funny goings on with regard to the mainstream media one more time railing against Doge and any progress that has been made both with the FBI and the finding of what was going on with our dollars from time to time, which was a little ridiculous. And then, of course, you had that Tarloff woman one more time make an ass out of herself trying to defend and to say that Donald Trump's plans aren't working and so on, and that people were against it. Well, right there and then, well, I'm going to let you take a look right now.
And you see Republicans all over the country. And no, Jesse, these are not plants that are showing up at their town halls.
I never said that.
But you were thinking
about
that.
Okay, so I headed you off. They were actually people who worked at the CDC in Rich McCormick's district. But people are showing up in Oklahoma, in Arkansas, Pennsylvania, Missouri, Wisconsin, and they're saying what's going on at Doge is unacceptable. And are you kidding me with these Medicaid cuts?
It's interesting how she gets away with sitting on several programs on the Fox network, and they let her get away with this. But I have to think it's for the amusement of the other hosts that are on that show that they bring her back. And when you listen to The Five with Harold Ford on there in that position of defending the Democratic mess-up that is a cesspool right now of people worried about being uncovered and looked at in the light that they have lived in, especially in the last 4 years, and the things that they get away with no consequences at all, such as Hunter Biden, the Biden crime family, and so on, not to mention Adam the Schiff getting away with what he's pulled off and should be in jail for, along with Pelosi and the rest of that bunch that engineered the January 6th nonsense. And the person who did kill someone there was on their side and never has been brought up on charges for it, to kill an unarmed woman. And he's still walking around, and hopefully he'll be routed out of that position during this purge that's taking place of non-essential government workers that are taking our money every day and doing God knows what instead of the job they were hired to do. So that's always interesting for us to see and hear from that croaky-voiced Jessica Tarloff, who is at best like a grade school student in her understanding of anything. The other thing that I watched last night and really got to me was Jane Fonda, Hanoi Jane, out there telling us how we're not empathetic in this administration to the poor people that are going to do without now because of the changes. She is an actress that is told the lines to say, where to stand to say those lines, and then paid immense amounts of money to do it and get TV show accolades and so on. When you go to an awards dinner, and it really got me about the way she forecasted the speech was almost unbelievable. She wanted us to know that we need to have empathy for others. I wonder if it occurred to her how much empathy she had when she took the notes from our prisoners in North Vietnam and handed them over to their persecutors on her way out the door while she was hugging up and kissing and giving our troop movements over to the North Vietnamese dirtbags that did the things that they did. To even McCain, how could you look at McCain straight in the face when he came home after what you did there? I don't believe you have any right to stand up and pontificate to us exactly what your feelings are about empathy toward others and things of that nature when you did the dastardly things that you got away with during those years. You're now an 80-some-year-old wealthy woman that is telling everyone in your earshot your sophisticated beliefs on how government should be run and how politicians should handle themselves. You have no right to tell any of us anything, and apologies not accepted. If you ever did utter one that was actually heartfelt, I would be amazed. It's incredible what these people, such as De Niro and the like, are out there pontificating now and are making a movie to tell you what's going to happen in the next pandemic and when the next attack on our infrastructures happen, how it's all going to go, and then bend it to believe, or for us to believe, that he told you so because he has Trump derangement syndrome. That's a disease that you can get something to calm your butt down, and don't shove any more of this in our face. We know what can happen and what would happen if we had a magnetic shutdown of everything that is in this country electric, which is just another reason to understand why you don't need to be running out buying everything that's run on electric, including your automobiles. Are you that freaking stupid that you're going to say these things to us now and then promote everything electric? Who do you work for?
And I'm sure many of you guys have played bullies and misogynists.
Gotta change the record.
And you can pretty much know, you actors, right, that probably their father bullied them and called men that he felt were weak. He called them losers or...
You've got a dirty, whorish mouth. That's what you have.
And while you may hate the behavior of your character, you have to understand and empathize with the traumatized person you're playing, right? Thinking Sebastian Stan in The Apprentice.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Make no mistake, empathy is not weak or woke. And by the way, woke just means you give a damn about other people.
And woke just means you give a damn about other people.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Some of these actors that have passed their prime time, that have been wonderful actors and provided us with a lot of entertainment, have no right, because as an actor, you're not schooled in those areas of diplomacy, of how the government works, and you're certainly not constitutionalist by any stretch of the mean. And for those of you millionaire actors and actresses that want to tell us how Trump is going to hurt all of the little people, what the hell are you doing for the little people? Nothing but causing more divide, more hatred, and more unrest in the main population of this country that goes to the movies and planks down the $20 for your ticket to watch you pretend to be someone else one more time. It's amazing and amusing at the same time that you think that you have opinions that should be heard by the world. Stick to what you know best, and that's playing somebody else's place and being someone you're not, and we don't care anymore what you all have to say. We're going to listen to the people with the expertise in what they're telling us to be the factual truth. And for truth, justice, and the American way, we now have a cabinet of people and a president that will provide us with everything we need to know, and it will work. We will be great again, and it's coming at you faster than a freight train. So get off the tracks and help, not divide, and not hinder the progress that's being made now by this new administration for you, me, and the world. We got to watch yesterday, Macron's visit here. They had great meetings for a long time. They had 2 press conferences, answered questions, and I thought it went quite well. So what does the news hang their hat on this morning at CNN and Morning Joke over there on MSNBC is the fact that Macron corrected him. Macron had to correct him. Well, you know, people have opinions, and an opposite side could have a differing opinion, and that may not be a correction, and it may have been. But that's not all you walk away from those meetings with, is the one thing that upset your little Democratic propaganda machine and gives you that much juice to get in. Look at your viewership. You want to know what's happened to Joy Reid. Here's a classic example. Here's a racist woman who's expounded on nonsense in and around Thanksgiving about not getting together with your families because they didn't vote the way you did or they didn't feel the same way you did. And what the heck? It's incredible. So then and now, you can look at right here.
People are crazy.
Well, here's an alternative thought. Make your own dinner, MAGA. Make your own sandwiches. Wipe your own tears. Troll amongst yourselves with Elon and leave us alone. You got your heart's desire, the president you dreamed of, and worship instead of Jesus. And this time, you didn't even have to storm the Capitol, smash the windows, or try to kill police officers or issue death threats to poll workers. See? You did it just by voting this time. Congrats. You got your way. And he even got away with breaking the law. Yay. But if you expect the 73 million who voted for the prosecutor, not the felon, and particularly the 92% of black women who voted for Kamala to give you a cookie for your vote, a trophy, a hug, a high five, you might be asking too much. If we want to eat with you, we will. But if we just want some peace over the holidays and we don't want to put up with your trolling while we eat our tofurkey, get over it. Stop acting like we owe you, and for God's sakes, stop whining. It's embarrassing. Our Thanksgiving, our choice.
To the Democrats, I say, be careful what you wish for.
My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And I think this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that,
well, I'll be damned.
My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that
wipe your own tears.
That what I was doing had value.
And for God's sakes, stop whining. It's embarrassing.
Don't beat yourself up.
My show had value.
Not anymore.
It's almost incredible that this woman has to reduce herself to thinking that that she was right and she brought good things to that network, and she doesn't know what she's going to do. Come on. When you're paid millions of dollars a year to sit behind a microphone and say that you're expounding on the news or having opinions on the news, you should stick to that and not stick to the racial epitaphs that you put out and upset many, many people. And when the new management came in and looked at your rating numbers, this is the reason you're out. You're not out because you're black. You're not out because you're pink or blue or purple. You're out because your numbers weren't there. And let's take that in relevance to why people are being put out of USAID and the IRS and places like that, because the numbers of production were not there. In some cases, they weren't there and didn't care to be there because they got their paycheck every 2 weeks, just like they were supposed to, and no one asked any questions. Then you had 4 years of someone sitting in office that didn't have an idea of how to ask the question, never mind go look for the graft and sheer waste that is being uncovered right now. And then you have the Democratic side of the aisle, and really a couple of Republicans going along with it, that are just beside themselves that someone is looking at this. What are they afraid that's going to be uncovered? Well, they'll tell you on the Congress floor that, oh, well, that's not as bad as they say that it is. Listen, any waste of our tax dollars is a bad thing. I don't care if it's $2 or $2 billion, which is more of what they're finding. It should be accounted for, and the people who have mismanaged that money need to have answers for whoever is really in charge. And it certainly shouldn't be Stacey Abrams. Let's take that as a given. But anyway, it gets worse every day when you start to listen. They're down to a handful of people that are now out in the streets to rail against Doge and rail against, the new most hated person on the Democratic side is fast becoming Elon. And the Elon derangement syndrome may even outpace Trump derangement syndrome if it's let go long enough. But there are a lot of people that are worried every day about what is going on inside our government's offices and the layers of deep state people hiding in various places around the nation to avoid working, avoid doing the job that they were hired to do, and so on. It's being uncovered. Also, Tom Homan is already talking to certain cities that are saying that there won't be any help from their police departments or justice departments in getting the illegals that are criminal illegals rounded up and deported. So he told the Boston police chief just recently he's coming to Boston to get him, and he's bringing hell with it. This is the kind of leadership that this country has been devoid of since the Bush administration. We have it now. We have people that have the capabilities of making it a better world for all of us, and it will happen. The new lie coming out of Congress is that if they pass the one big bill, that it's just a tax break for millionaires, and if they renew the Trump tax cuts that are due to expire, that it will not hurt the middle class. Well, it will. It'll add $6,000 in taxable income or taxes to your income, and do not let them lie to you any longer. If you have a Democratic person in Congress and in the Senate, write or call them today and tell them that they need to continue the Trump tax cuts. Even if they don't pass this bill, that part should be done. We cannot afford to have a small business going back up to 30-some% in tax. It will drive small business out of business, which has been the Democratic way for the last 6 years. This is what they're trying to do. And if they don't pass this bill, we all suffer with taxation, and it is going to continue as long as we have as many Democrats on that side of the aisle fighting against everything because it has Trump's name attached to it or someone else's name attached to it, or the fact that they have buddies that are going to benefit in the long run. They want to be quick to tell you that these tax decreases are only for the rich. That's not true. They have lied time and time again about this. Small business is the lifeblood of this country. We can't survive without it, and things have to be brought back here as far as manufacturing, drug manufacturing, clothing manufacturing, and the fact that we don't have one plug-in appliance any longer made in this country, that it all comes from China and Korea and Vietnam, is a darn shame. And these are not only not good products, but it is not employing people here in the United States as it once did when we were more powerful, richer, and we had appliances that actually worked. So we can continue to buy China's stuff and put a tariff on it, which they're arguing against, or we can bring back manufacturing here and have these companies make an investment in America one more time and keep us the strongest possible country and producer in the world today. It's coming, and we're doing a good job so far with getting it here, and we'll see just how that goes. But as far as Joy Reid, feel sorry for you. And for Hanoi Jane, no one cares. Go do another TV show. Get a little bit more wealthy. And when you close your eyes at night, see every one of those prisoners that handed you a note in your dreams. That's what you deserve. So with that, that's the Tuesday morning report from Kaiser and I. And we're looking forward to being back here with you on Wednesday tomorrow. So until then, stay safe, stay strong, and stay healthy, wise, and away from mainstream TV. Bye-bye now.